Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. All right. We're at the end. Boy, this year went fast, or is it just me? I'm still in maybe March or April, somewhere on. But now we're going into January. My name is Fran Daniels, religious science practitioner here at Miracle Center for Spiritual Living at 2653 South Taylor Road in the beautiful Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As we begin our service, we begin it in prayer with the invocation. I invite you just to become still, feet flat on the floor, closed eyes, open hearts, being receptive to the divine movement of spirit in this morning's service. For we know that there is but one life, and that life is God. That life is perfect, that life is whole, that life is complete. That life is my life now, and the life of each one of you within the sound of my voice, the life of every living entity in this universe, from the tiniest insect to the largest mammal, the stars, the moon, everything was created by God. That infinite intelligence that knows what to do, when to do, and how to do, and is doing His perfect work right here, right now, through this morning's service. I know that God is our divine support. God is our creator. God is our divine movement. So I bless this morning's service, knowing that Spirit, God, is moving through this service, expressing as perfect peace, perfect love, perfect joy, perfect beingness. The only thing that is taking place is this divine love, divine peace. So again, Merry Christmas, a merry new birth of life coming up. The Christ within us, the newborn, the reborn, the infinite presence within. So again, I bless this service, and the only thing at work is spirit, and that is good, and that is purposeful, and that is absolutely joyous and wonderful. And if you're in agreement with the words that I have just spoken, simply affirm with me. And so it is. And so I let it be. Amen and amen. Wow. Amen. Well, as we refer to our bulletin this morning, welcome to the house of God. We are feeling creatures who think. As we allow the fire of love, the fire of spirit to move us, we rise to new levels of joy, love, and alignment with spirit. Amen. And our affirmation is, I let the fire of infinite love blaze in my heart. Ah, how wonderful. Let's repeat that together. I let the fire of infinite love blaze in my heart. And let's say that every day, every second, every minute this week, and just feel the love that blazes within your heart. And at this time, we will have a song, the Christmas song, by Nat King Cole. Chris, take it away. Yes. Telling you know it's Christmas when you hear Nat King Cole sing that. It just is nostalgic. Very, very nice. As we move on, first I want to say, those of you that are on Zoom and not here, our sanctuary is absolutely beautiful. With poinsettias all over the pulpit, we have beautiful red bows on the wall, and we all owe all this decoration to Arnie. So let's give Arnie a hand for doing such a magnificent job. Thank you. Okay, our theme our well, I'm on the wrong page. Our science of mind point of view, that which is felt cannot be taught, while that which is taught can be felt. And that's from our Science of Mind textbook, page 312. It's one thing to know something intellectually, but until it is felt, until there is emotion, passion, and conviction added, the words and ideas are empty of emanating power. Ernest refers to the essence of the treatment, our Science of Mind textbook, page 312, as the feeling the practitioner has and brings. Feeling can't be taught, only felt. As we free ourselves of the ties that bind us emotionally and allow our true self to fully, vibrantly express, we bring more of the fire of the divine into our lives. And the core emotion is love, which is the nature of the Spirit. Love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. Love is self-givenness through creation, imparting the divine through the human. As we let this divine life and love express through us, we embody and manifest the divine nature in our lives. We love what we generally desire into existence. Wonderful.
First page. Right after the summary. Monthly theme summary.
Our monthly theme summary, I thought I read that. After all the spins and twirls, the gymnast must land upright on her feet at the end of a gymnastics performance. At the end of this year, having explored a grand rising, we land on our feet, grounded in timeless principles. We'll use both elements, air, fire, water, earth, and light, and the flow of consciousness, thought, feeling, form, wisdom, spirit, to wrap up this year and prepare for the next. Life is what it is. It is beautiful and flowing and joyful and violent and chaotic. Life includes death. Everything in life appears for a while, then recedes into mystery. We are expressions of life, evolving from consciousness to consciousness. Only when we fight life, trying to control it, trying to make it into our image and likeness, we experience real pain and struggle. It is when we live at the lowest level of consciousness, viewing life as something happening to us, that we feel like helpless victims. With all that struggle and pain, we close off our hearts, trying to intellectualize our way through a controlled life. And now, to give us more information on that, to inspire us to be better, to do better, our message comes from our beloved Reverend June Clark, and her message is Hearts Ablaze. Hearts Ablaze.
Thank you, Fran. And good morning, everyone. It's just gorgeous. The sun is shining and the streets are bright and black because the sun has melted the SNOW that was upon them not so long ago. It is gorgeous today. I'm not sure how warm it is because I happen to be inside this warm house, but it is beautiful. It's beautiful to be with you. And I had the most interesting experience that I'm going to share with those of you that don't see it because you're not on Zoom, and maybe you do see it. I see Kara Kilburn And she is so dedicated to coming to our services that she starts listening in her car on her way to church. She's almost here. So we're going to continue going. That's what she does. She continues going. And I love it. I love it. I've never seen this side of anyone coming to church as dedicated as she is. So I'll move on. I'll move on. Thank you, Fran, for opening us up this morning. We've got several different things going on this morning. Um, it's been it's been a it's been a hell of a week. It's been you know, how can you say it any other way? Um, Interesting for me, levels of healing, levels of moving forward. And so this morning is basically from the books. And I have different approaches, different books to use this morning. But I'm going to start with what Fran read. And it says, life is what it is. And that is an accurate statement. Life is what it is. It is beautiful and flowing and joyful and violent and chaotic. What did I start with? I'm not gonna use that word again in church. But you know, I'm sure that you have um said those same words at some point. You know, those kind of points come up every once in a while. And I just find I wrote here interesting comparison of those words. It is beautiful and flowing and joyful and violent and chaotic. And it is what it is, that it ain't no iser, as someone that I used to know used to say. And as we journey through our lives, our days, all these little precious statements came up. The days of wine and roses. You know, I'm full of them today. Uh, it's just unique to each and every one of us, and I appreciate it so much because if I went on to drone on about what life is, what life is, what it is, and it's beautiful and flowing and joyful and violent and chaotic. You know, what I would come up with, you might listen to me and look at me and say, that's not very much. That's not very big. Or if you decide to tell me what's on your mind, I might do the same thing. What are you talking about? I can really have a few things to say that will hold your ear a lot longer than that. So I find it interesting how my thinking is going these days because it is not all about me, but it is all about the uniqueness of us, and the commonality of us. And there's one sentence after I've read those two lines a couple times. Life includes death. And that's for darn sure. And it includes death of the physical. It includes death of pain. It includes death of hopes and dreams. And the thing is that new ones come, new aches, new pains, new deaths, new aches that are different than whatever was before. Life includes death. And this week's readings got me to thinking more deeply about the individuality of who I am and who we all are. Maybe it's the season. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I'm going to read a little further uh, today. Going to read a little bit more than I usually do, but here we go. As we learn to flow with life, and here recently I have learned, yes, you better learn to flow with life, to release and let go. We feel safe enough to allow our hearts to open. Safe enough to allow our hearts to open. And the opposite of our hearts not opening is stagnation. It's a continuous of pain. It's a continuous of knowing exactly what is the highest and the best for us and knowing it, but ignoring it. And finally waking up to everything in life appears for evolving from unconsciousness to consciousness, from unconsciousness to consciousness. And that's not only our personal business, it affects and it allows us to look at our church, our church as Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. We're coming into a new year. We're coming into a new phase of being Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. We're coming into a new ownership, not only as a building, but in our lives. What are we turning to? What are we learning about ourselves as we move toward this ending of 2024? Fran spoke about the time going so fast. I cannot believe, but I can, and I accept it. I don't want to I don't want to ignore it. I don't want to say I don't want it. And that's my next birthday number. I praise it. I worship in it, and I love it. There's so much we are expressing in so many ways. We are expressions of life evolving from unconsciousness to consciousness. And I find that more true every single day, that there is a new experience and a new joy and a new, there's another one, and but that's gone, and here I go again. I'm living and I'm accepting and I'm moving forward. Only when we fight life, trying to control it, trying to make it into our image and likeness, we experience real pain and struggle, real pain and struggle. I personally have found I don't like real pain. I don't like struggle. And 2025, here we go. We're going to shake it up, baby. We're going to see something else that can occur with grace and ease. Only when we fight life. So let's stop fighting life. It is when we live at the lowest level of our consciousness. And we think about that. I've thought about that. The pity party. I can't. Oh, it hurts. Too much. How do you get better? By letting it hurt too much and letting it hurt some more. So as we move, it is when we live at the lowest level of our consciousness, viewing life as something happening to us that we feel, that we feel like helpless victims. With all the struggle and pain, we close off our hearts, trying to intelligent, I'm not sure if this is a word, intelligentilize our way through a controlled life. Have you tried controlling just a few things in your life and find out that you really can't control very much at all? You can't control very much at all. As we learn to flow with life, to release and let go, we feel safe enough to allow our hearts to open. And therefore, we see a different way of living. We see a different way of feeling. We see a different way of emerging through 7 years of paying for a building. And it is a building, but it's a blessed building. Our church. How did we do it? Whew, how did we do it? As we learn to flow with life, to release and let go, we feel safe enough to allow our hearts to open. In the book Illusions, Richard Bach, he also wrote about the seagull, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Two very interesting looks at life if you've never read them. In the book Illusions, Richard Bach describes a group of creatures clinging tightly and desperately to rocks in a stream. Sound familiar? One finally decides to let go. At first, they are battered and bumped along the rocks, but soon they learn how to flow with the stream. As we learn to flow with the river of life, we can discover freedom and joy. We begin with a willingness to open our hearts again and to let go of clinging to all our hurts and wounds. We stop defining ourselves by our woundedness, not wonderness, but our woundedness, and begin to define ourselves by aliveness and passion. Then, instead of life happening to us, life is happening within us and as us. It takes, I find, and I can only speak for myself, that all these words that I am beginning to understand through, life is happening within us and as us. It takes time. It takes time to be with God, is what Reverend Mary Louise Ruffner used to tell us at Riverside Church. It takes time to be with God. And who has all the right answers? God expressing itself. Where does God express itself? In us, as us, through us, in every single way, every single truth. If we just stop and take time, take that time to be with God and really listen to what it is trying to tell us. And there becomes a peacefulness. If there is pain that you're experiencing, it becomes easy to change the word a P word, pain, to promise, to another P word, which would be prophetic. There's something prophetic about the writings of the Bible, and it's a word, it's the word. Think of a way to change that word that is kind of putting you down, that is stopping you in its place. Think of another word. Reverend Leora, some of you know as my sister, some of you know as Reverend Leora, some of you don't know at all. When she talks to me, she says, we've got to push. We've got to push through it. She has some health things that she's pushing through. So when we speak to one another, we replace the word pain with push. We've got to push through it. Many of you, when you speak to me, you say, keep going, keep going. So that is what life is happening within us. Just push and remember there's another side. As we recognize that we are manifestations of love, immersed in a field of infinite love, and not only do we feel safe, but we even let go of seeking safety and instead come out and play. I thought that was so interesting. I'm going to read it again. As we recognize that we are manifestations of love, immersed in a field of infinite love, not only do we feel safe, but we even let go of seeking safety. I thought that was so interesting. Seeking safety and instead come out and play. When you push, whatever it is you're pushing, it's going in the opposite direction of what you thought it was. Pain pushes back, but not at you. It pushes away from you. Feeling like you don't have any financial supply. As you push, maybe you go in a pocket and folded within that pocket. My son the other day, he said, I thought I put $40 folded in my pants pocket. It was 70. Push. It was 70. I got more to do what I want to do with than I had before I pushed. All those things are there. They're ready to be pushed to our significant thinking. Somebody used to have a badge called, and it said, I don't do stinking thinking. That was in my days of going to conventions and stuff. And, everybody had crazy badges that they were. I don't like stinking thinking. So I'm going to push the stinking thinking, no matter what it's about, the politics, the health, the checkbook, the snow. It's beautiful now. It's only on the grass. Beautiful. Push, push, push into what it is you want in your life. But we even let go of seeking safety. Seeking safety. I never thought about myself seeking safety, but I do. I do. Maybe you do too. Maybe you don't. Maybe you never have. So maybe you never will. But it's interesting. And instead, you come out and play. Instead of weeping, going to the pity party, opening the door, finding a lot of other little tables with a lot of, we won't say little people, but a lot of other people sitting with their tissues and sinking further and further into their pity parties. We kick that all out the door. And as it says here, and instead come out and play. Whatever coming out and play is for you, it'll work. It'll work because it's your unique coming out and playing. That was one of my readings that I latched onto this past week. And another is when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I'm afraid. Have you really felt afraid? Scared is another word. But afraid to me is even a more dynamic word than just being frightened, because you can watch a scary movie and be so silly stuff and be afraid. Have you ever felt, have you ever felt when it says I, but you can put yourself in that place, when you felt to dare to be powerful? Maybe someone was encouraging you to believe something different about the way you're living. I don't know what comes up for you. I've had that come up for me lately. A lot of things have been powerful, and I dare to be powerful. I dare to listen from my own perspective. I appreciate all perspectives, but I dare to listen and to be powerful in my own perspective, to use my strength in the service of my vision. I have many visions. I have a vision for things that have come up since I have been confined and not being able to move about as much. I have visions about 2025 for Miracle Center for Spiritual Living. Exciting stuff. Will it all come to fruition? I don't know. I don't know. What do you have a vision about? You know, Fran has been visioning, not just Fran, but when my sister and I first were able to candidate for this church, and I say able because you don't just get to candidate for a church, you get to be asked. And the folks at Miracle Center for Spiritual Living, a lot of them still here, and some of them not here, visioned for a new minister that is singular. And they met at the prior minister's house. Not the prior minister, excuse me, at the practitioner, person who was a practitioner here, who has now gone to glory. And they met every week, and they visioned. And they visioned, and they visioned, and they visioned at the church on Buckeye, which some of you are familiar with, some of you aren't. When Reverend Leora and I candidated, it was no longer singular minister. They wound up with two ministers, which we served together for quite a period of time. And then she, as you know, some of you don't, went back to California on an emergency stay and had to stay in California. So, vision, to use my strength in the service of my vision. What is your vision? As Miracle Center members visioned for a minister, they received two. I am still here. Someone will come and replace me at some point as we vision for a new minister. What is it in your life that you vision for, that you want to have, that you have gotten that message through the essence and the truth of the Spirit moving through you? To use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I'm afraid. If you are looking toward what it is that you want, and science of mind treatment is our prayer, and we speak our word for what it is we want. And sometimes we say, oh, but nothing's changing. Yes, it is. It's changing every time you speak your word, because you've spoken to the old word before. You're speaking to the new word, the new concept, the new energy. Continue to vision, continue to speak your word. Then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid, because you are no longer afraid. You are seeing the truth of God show up in your life. Maybe, just maybe, it's not in the exact image and likeness of God that you thought it might show up as, but it is definitely showing up as God in your life as you continue to treat, as you continue to believe this is what I want. If it is no longer what I want, you change the vision. You can always change the vision. You can always change your prayer. Nothing wrong with changing your mind, for you are the mind of God, and God is the mind of you. So I have another segment that I was turned on to this week, and it came as the conclusion and the call to action from the writings that Science of Mind sends to us. And this is another phase of what I've been looking at and thinking about, so I'm sharing it with you. Audre Lorde also reminds us, and there's some statement prior to this that I did not use, but this is what he advises. Your silence will not protect you. Your silence will not protect you. I know that means something different for each and every one of us. I'm not going to explain what it means to me, because I know what it is, and it probably doesn't mean a hill of beans to you. Your silence will not protect you. Think about that in whatever issue you have in your life that you're paying enough attention to that it becomes worthy of bothering you over and over again. Is it financial? Is it a relationship? Is it your own outlook on life? How you deal with people or how you don't deal with people? How long you let an illness keep creeping up on you and becoming harder to push against? What is it? What is it that your silence will not protect you from? I don't know. He goes on to say, our playing small serves no one. Ignoring it, acting like you don't know what it is when very well you do. Our acting small, playing small, serves no one, including ourselves. Spirit is the constant, infinite self-givingness, blazing its essence into form eternally. Straight from this man's writings into our ear, into our thought, into our definitive explanation of who we are. Spirit is the constant, infinite self-givingness, blazing its essence into form eternally. We know God is eternal, and in some way we are also. As we take the time to release the old fears, hurts, beliefs, and superstitions that have haunted us and most of humanity. See, we're not alone. Most of humanity for a lifetime. And as we connect ever more deeply with the spirit within and all around, our hearts will be ablaze with life and love. Those are the things we have to let in, life and love. At the age of 93, Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, said, "I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me." 93 years old. Let your heart sizzle with zeal and be ablaze with the love and life that Spirit is expressing. This week, if you know that there are blockages of fear or hurt or grief, work with a practitioner and free yourself. Free yourself. Join a grief support group. I have to say this very, very briefly because it is true. It's true. When I found out that I had the big C, the big C that frightens the heck out of all of us, I went to a support group. I went 1 week, and it was a big circle of people, males, females, different ages, and all the people did in the circle was talk about their big C. And they went around one by one, and I swear there was at least 30 people there. I went that one time, and then I proceeded with whatever medical blessings that were there and available, and there and available. And one day it got to the point where the doctor said, "Do you want to take, there's treatments that you can take for various things?" And I said, "No. I have decided that I'm through with it." Never took nothing else, never took anything else. But I say this, if someone comes to me with a practitioner question about this same situation, I do not tell them what I did. And I'm very emphatic about that because what I did was for me and was my choice. And I think everything in life is duplicated multiplicity throughout the world. And what each and every one of us does with whatever our stick is, whatever our thing is, it is up to the individual to decide what to do about it. So I gave that information to you for that reason, because we must do whatever we individually need to do about whatever it is that is holding us back. Let your heart sizzle with a mighty faith to do the things that ought to be done by me. That's what you've got to believe. Let this week, if you know that there are blockages of fear, hurt, or grief, work with a practitioner to free yourself. That's what I did. Join a grief support group. That's what I explained to you. Join a group if that fits for you. If going to a grief group is an overwhelming assistance, do it. If it is an overwhelming grief, follow up, I say find some other way. That's me giving advice, which I try not to do. But think about it. I'll just say that. Just think about it. Spend time contemplating your heart, imaging it, opening and expanding. Become more inclusive. Practice listening to and trusting your heart in your life. Listening to and trusting your heart in your life. Take on the words of the John Lennon song from Dear Prudence. I was not aware of this song. I probably heard it, never paid attention to the lyrics. From the John Lennon song, Dear Prudence, with the invitation. This is an invitation to Prudence. Dear Prudence, won't you come out to play? Greet the brand new day. The sun is up, the sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so are you. The wind is low, the birds will sing that you are part of everything. Won't you come out to play? So in your pursuit of, whether it's a church affair, I say affair, I mean something going on within the church, if it's something that you have been wrestling around with for years, if it's something that pops up periodically that you just can't get a hook on it, you can't push it hard enough to get it to change, maybe you need to go get the song, get the John Lennon song and play this yourself. Dear Prudence, won't you come out to play? Great. The brand new day. The sun is up. The sky is blue. It's beautiful, and so are you. The wind is low. The birds will sing that you are part of everything. Won't you come out to play? Can only sit in a dark hole all by yourself, bumping up against the rocks, deciding, oh, they really don't hurt when they really are excruciatingly painful. So think about that. So I'm going to move ahead. I got just a few questions for you. And then I have a couple of references from Living the Science of Mind. Love that book. And Science of Mind textbook. The spirit fires the soul with energy and understanding. The soul, which is the subjective mentality, vitalizes the body and animates all we do. And from the Science of Mind textbook, page 477, second paragraph, man's mind should swing from inspiration to action, from contemplation to accomplishment, from prayer to performance. This would be well-balanced existence. Whoa. I don't think mine is quite often, but I do, and I'm working on it. The spirit fires the soul with energy and understanding. The soul, which is the subjective mentality, vitalizes the body and animates all that we do. Ernest Holmes at one of his best, and everything that he writes is just wonderful. 477, paragraph 2. The next statement, love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. Love is self-givingness through creation, the imparting of the divine through the human. Again, on the Science of Mind textbook, on page 476. And that is the fourth paragraph. Labor not for the meat which perishes. I get that as old English. Stop messing around with something that's not going to come to fruition. That's just me. Jesus knew that we need food to eat while in the flesh, so he could not be referring to literal meat or food, which I did, but rather to inner substance is spiritual, starved spirituality, and intellectually than physically. I'll read it again. Starvation takes place on more than one plane. More people are starved spiritually and intellectually than physically. That I think we see every day in our world. I do believe that we see that every day. A full stomach will never appease an appetite for learning. I hope not. Nor can a loaf of bread and meat, nor can a loaf of bread satisfy the inner craving for reality. The whole being needs to be fed bread and meat for the body, knowledge and wisdom for the soul, atmosphere and consciousness for the spirit. And that's on page 476. It's in the fourth paragraph, and it is entitled The Meat Which Perisheth, and that's from John 6:27. You need some extra focus on that. The meat which perish, John 6:27. Excuse me a sec. The book fell off my lap. The next one is feeling organized and directed is intelligent creation. I need to type that in very large letters and hang it everywhere I can. So if you need it, you do that too. I'm going to say this one and then I'm going to move on. Hearts ablaze. That's not it. Feeling organized and directed is intelligent creation, Reverend June. And if you need to borrow that one, I share it with you. If you don't need it, move on to something else that you do need, that you do need, that you do need, that you do need. So that's my readings and my perspectives I've gained over pretty much pushing pain away and moving to power. I would like to close with Science of Mind treatment. And you have access to this treatment because it is in the Science of Mind book under physical perfection. And I accidentally, of course, there are no accidents in God, wound up reading this, and I have been reading it every day for quite some time. And I want to read it to you, to share it with you, if this is something that will help you in your life. A treatment for peace of mind on page 264, 265, physical perfection. We cannot be in peace until we know that the spirit is the only cause, medium, and effect in our lives. There is no past, present, and future to it. Evil has no history and has never entered into the being or the experience of reality, capital R. The mind must come to know and to realize all these truths if it is to have real and lasting peace. A treatment such as this will be of great service and equating the mind with the truth of its being. Be still and know that I am God. I am the Christ, the Son of the living God within me. I am the principle of peace within me. I am the manifestation of love within me. My mind is poised in peace and beauty. All sense of fear or doubt is gone. I rest in calm trust and rely on the law of spirit to bring good into my experience. I contend with none, argue with none. I am filled with wonderful peace and light. There is no uncertainty about my future and no fear as a reality of my past. I live in an eternal now, which is filled with good alone. Goodness and beauty flow. Goodness and beauty follow me. Peace and joy accompany me. Happiness and wholeness fill my entire being with realization of love and perfection. I am the Christ, the Son of the living God within me. This inner mind of mine is now divine and complete. It has no worries and no fears. It is whole, complete, and satisfied. I look back over all previous experience and find that it was good, very good. I look toward the future and find that it is good and very good. I look at the present and find that it is also good and very good. God is in all, over all, and through all. I am the Christ, the Son of the living God within me. I am the spirit of confidence. I am poised in love and reason. I am the perfect law of truth and the complete presence of beauty. I am Christ, the Son of the living God within me. And so it is. And so I let it be. Let me see the time. Well, it's 11:30. So I'm going to release this back to Fran for our closing, and we'll have the music another day. Thank you for all you've done this year. Love and blessings.
Thank you, Reverend June, for that inspirational message. Oh, it's so powerful. Let's give her a hand. And very briefly, it reminds me, there's a commercial. I don't really sit down and watch TV, but the TV is on while I'm doing my computer work and stuff. And this janitor is in this auditorium, and he jumps up on the stage, and he starts singing, "What the world needs now is love, sweet love." And that commercial just strikes me so and just goes through me. Thank you, artists, for taking up the collection. And that's the truth. What the world needs now is love. And we are love. And we must always express love, no matter what's going on. Love is a powerful force. So with that, I thank you all for being here. Do we have any visitors in the audience today? Okay, well, I bless each one of you for being here. And I thank you, and let us prepare for our benediction as we just go within again and just praise God for all the wonderful inspiration and the wonderful thoughts and the feelings and the love that has been displayed through this morning service. We thank God for the divine movement, for the love that has been shown through every word and every action that takes place. So as we leave here to celebrate the significance of the birth of Christ, known as the Christmas Day. The birth of Christ is every day, but we generally celebrate on December 25th. And we just say, happy birthday, Jesus. Happy birthday, God. Happy birthday, me. For the Christ in me is reborn, renewed, is our strong support. So whom shall we fear? Thank you, God, for the service. And together we say, and so it is. Okay. right. Please join us in the sanctuary, in the social hall for snacks that the ladies have prepared. Thank you again for being here and have a blessed week. Merry Christmas. Yeah.